What if I told you that under the right conditions, a frozen lake doesn't just form a smooth sheet of ice? It can sprout slender, crystalline spikes that look like something from another world. Picture a bitterly cold morning. A shallow lake has frozen overnight, its surface a perfect pane of glass. But here and there, something unusual has appeared, delicate ice spikes, some just inches high, others rising like frozen fountains from the surface. They're thin, hollow, and impossibly fragile. If you blink, you might miss them, because by midday, they're often gone, melted away by the sun or shattered by the wind. For centuries, people who spotted them thought they were seeing things, frost fairies, winter ghosts, or just tricks of the light. But these spikes are very real, and the secret to how they form is hidden in one of water's most extraordinary behaviors. Let's start with what almost everyone gets wrong about freezing water. We tend to imagine ice forming smoothly, layer by layer, until the surface is solid. But nature rarely follows the rules we expect. In certain shallow, calm bodies of water, like ponds, bird baths, or even buckets left outside, the freezing process can take a strange detour. Instead of a flat sheet, the ice pushes upward, creating these stunning spires. They don't happen often. You need a specific recipe of cold, stillness, and pure chance. But when they do appear, they stop you in your tracks. They look sculpted, intentional, as if winter itself decided to get creative. So, how does something so orderly emerge from something as random as freezing water? It all begins with a small hole, a tiny opening in a thin layer of surface ice. As the water below continues to freeze, it expands. Ice, as you might know, is less dense than liquid water, which is why it floats. But here's where things get interesting. Normally, expanding ice would just push outward, thickening the sheet. But if there's a small hole, the expanding ice has somewhere to go up. Think of it like squeezing a tube of toothpaste. If the cap is on, nothing happens. But if there's a small opening, paste comes out. In this case, the paste is a slushy mixture of ice crystals and supercooled water. Now, as this slush is forced upward through the hole, it meets the frigid air. The exposed water at the tip of this rising column freezes almost instantly, forming a delicate rim. But the process doesn't stop there. More slush is pushed up from below and the rim freezes again, lifting the structure slightly higher. This cycle repeats: push, freeze, lift, and slowly a hollow spike is born. It's like a miniature ice volcano, quietly erupting in reverse. But why does it form a spike and not just a blob? That's where surface tension comes in. Water molecules are sticky, they cling to each other, especially at the edges. As the slush emerges, surface tension pulls the liquid inward, shaping it into a narrow tube. If conditions are just right, calm air, steady cold, the tube continues to grow upward, sometimes for hours, creating spikes that can reach several inches in height. The inside remains hollow, often with a tiny opening at the top, like a fragile drinking straw made of ice. What's even more fascinating is how easily the spell can be broken. A slight breeze, a ray of sunlight, or a curious bird landing nearby can cause the spike to collapse. They're temporary sculptures, here at dawn, gone by noon. That's part of why they've remained so mysterious for so long. You can't plan to see them. You can only be lucky enough to witness one of winter's quietest, most elegant performances, and perhaps the most beautiful part: these spikes aren't just oddities. They're proof of how delicate the balance of nature can be. They remind us that even in something as simple as water freezing, there's hidden complexity, a dance of physics, temperature, and timing that most of us never see. In a world that often feels predictable, ice spikes are a small, shimmering surprise. A reminder that nature still has mysteries left to reveal, not in deep space or distant jungles, but right there, in a frozen puddle in your own backyard. Have you ever seen an ice spike in the wild, or another mysterious natural formation that made you look twice? Share your story in the comments below. And if you want to uncover more of nature's hidden wonders, subscribe to Nature Unlocked, where every mystery has an explanation.